Gather
We're
around the
waiting
campfire.
for Nicholas to get back. 1 second. Me and Iffy are gonna grab some ice cream, and
Okay.
then we'll be ready for presentation.
Wish I could grab some ice cream.
I'll send you some through the microphone, okay?
Gotcha.
Oh my god, heck. I read the first line. I was very curious about the first line.
We're still getting ice cream, but
That is
just to
mother.
confirm, you all could not hear me yell, "I'm ice creaming"
No.
from the other room, right?
No.
I heard
Nobody-
someone
Could
yell
you-
something.
Thanks. Still getting ice cream. Be right back.
You read the first line? That is
Yeah.
the least unhinged line in the entire thing.
Oh god. It's glorious. Don't you worry. I hope the people love it as much as you and I do.
It's fucking unhinged to a degree. I don't know what else to say.
I hope it's not too far.
Yeah, I really do as well.
Alright, so just as a little refresher for folks at home, I did not participate in this writing game. However, the 5 of them did. Jezreel, Nicholas, Mathias, Connor, Iffy. All 5 of them did. I was not here for it. So, instead, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading all 5 of them.
So we need to put smallest to largest.
Yep.
That's yours, Prime. The one you and I did.
Okay. Again.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
But we'll get to that when Connor and Iffy get back here. We'll just-
Fair enough.
Alright. Back. If you really just hit me with the I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Fucking ooka chaka, ooka chaka.
I can't stop this feeling
Deep
inside
inside
me.
I did not have
Good
sexual
Just
relations
to
with that woman.
realize
For
what you do to me.
Stack of
I just had a cheesecake earlier. It was made of chocolate and
Can you remind me?
What?
matcha.
My balls itch and I don't know what to make.
Out of personal curiosity, can I hear the word counts for all of them in order from shortest to longest?
I'll just update the fucking thing.
I'll
Okay.
post it.
And I'll post supernatural teen drama.
Too late. I beat you.
Did you make sure anybody could actually access it?
That's your responsibility.
Did you like make sure about that though?
This is
Prompt. A teenage girl moves to a small town and befriends a group of outcasts who reveal that they're all descendants of a powerful coven forced to protect the town from a lurking ancient evil that's slowly resurfacing. Stella, hurry up! You're gonna be late for school. You don't want to make a bad impression on your first day. Mrs. Dodds called up the stairs. Her voice rang in the ears of her daughter, who had already been up for hours, paralyzed by the possibility that she might do something to embarrass herself today at school. How often does someone get an opportunity to reinvent themselves? This move would be the chance she has been hoping for to leave behind her old dorky self and be somebody. She was finally ready for something new. Bzzz. The buzzer rang out through the halls of Miskatonic High School as Stella rushed through the nearly empty halls towards her homeroom and barged in through the door. Sorry, I'm here," Stella blurted out at the bored-looking teacher standing at the whiteboard. "Well, that's quite an entrance. You must be Stella Dodds." "Yes, sir, I am. It's nice to meet you." "Yes, well, now that you're here, you might as well take a seat, he mumbled to himself as he scanned the room. "Over there, by Emily." He pointed towards an empty seat in the middle of the room next to a small, sheepish, bespectacled girl who looked almost startled to have any attention drawn towards her. Stella nodded and took her seat next to Emily. "Nice to meet you. I'm Stella." "I'm Emily, as you heard." "Hey, do you think you could show me around after class? I'm pretty new around here," Stella asked. Sure, I guess I can introduce you to my friends and give you a tour," replied Emily with a small, timid smile. Hours later, when the bell finally rang for lunch, Stella sprang out. Okay, sprang, thank you. No, Stella sprang out of her seat and practically dragged Emily out of the classroom, obviously excited at being in a new place surrounded by new people. In her mind, she had already made a friend in Emily. Little did she know that, by either chance or fate, she was about to meet the people who would become her sisters. The lunchroom was rather small, but while most of the students stayed in a tight-knit group in the middle, Emily nudged me towards a small group that sat far from the rest. They were a redhead, a blondie, and dark-haired girls named Sarah, Trish, and Mary, respectively. Upon sitting down, I was immediately barraged with the strangest and most interesting of questions like, what was my zodiac sign and how much unnatural knowledge do I possess? I replied that I was a Vertigo, and that I have always been intrigued by what lies beyond the thin veil of our world, and have longed to use magics to pry and mold reality to my whims. I already despise this. You're just in luck, Stella. We, the Miskatonic Coven, wanted to recruit more witches into our sisterhood.
Okay, and Fires used it for evil.
Said Mary, the clear, charismatic leader of the group. The thought of casting spells made my heart flutter as I excitedly squeaked. You actually mean that you're a real coven with witchcraft and spells? Shh! Keep it down, bitch! Whispered Trish. Haven't you heard of the Salem witch trials? Normies aren't the only ones who would love to find witches in the wild. The girls are shuddered at the thought, and my cheeks flushed red with embarrassment. How could I be so stupid? Rule number 1 to any secret organization is to keep it a secret. Mary spoke, waking me from my paralyzing spiral. Stella, we chose you as our newest recruit because of 2 reasons. Emily's spell detected some great power in you, and an ancient evil may be returning to these lands. What kind of evil? The kind that makes children turn into soup for demons, and cities being swept up by shadows. She spoke with an unknowing bitterness, but when she saw my eyes, her tone softened. You don't have to worry about these things quite yet. You must first complete the basic task of swearing secrecy, loyalty, and your bloodline to the Miskatonic Coven in the Creaking Wood tonight. Emily will be your guide, seeing as you've never been there before, and the fact you haven't unclenched the poor girl's arm since leaving the classroom. Immediately, I released Emily's bluish arm and was excited for my new life.
I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Interesting seeing the perspective shift in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. The perspective shift was certainly something. Josh's reading was fucking amazing. He perfectly captured, like, fucking middle school girl.
Make a supernatural teen drama. I'm sorry for changing perspective, but
the thing that really threw me off, but it was the funniest part, was the mention of zodiac signs. I will be honest.
Thank you. I thought that was something that was middle school, high school like. It was very much so common.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Totally. I just.
It was.
Does it not fit the genre well?
It does.
It does not fit the genre well. Thank you.
It fits the genre perfectly. It's a wonderful choice.
I was trying to be more serious.
I wanted to pick something that I wasn't.
Not the same as Vertigo.
I was gonna say, isn't Vertigo? It's Vertigo versus Virgo. That's what it was.
Okay. Oh my god.
EP fiction. What is EP fiction?
What does EP stand for again?
Epistolary fiction. It is a novel written as a series
Good
of
luck,
letters
Joshua.
with fictional characters of a
Oh
narrative.
fuck.
Good luck reading the names.
Joshua,
You're
do
welcome.
you have a glass of water or a preferred beverage?
I
Perhaps
have.
alcoholic.
I've got.
You may need to bring out that rum.
Do you want me to? I was just thinking that.
I got some here.
Ooh, that was a fun
Yo,
sound.
that sounded juicy.
Goddamn. You had that shit ready.
Fuck.
Ready to go.
It's just like, Please, can you read this? I want to hear you pronounce
Yes,
it.
yes. Okay. Let's get through this. Everyone, shut up,
This might be
please.
more unhinged than Fire and Ice, honestly. I've seen some of this.
A young artist receives an unexpected letter from an anonymous admirer, encouraging them to pursue their dreams, but the writer seems to know deeply personal details about their life. Holy fuck. Okay. Dear Angelica Ovartuatian.
That was pretty good.
Ovartuatian. Okay.
You won't have to say it again, except for once.
You've just summoned something.
I think I
While we're
might
laughing
have.
still,
Angelica
how did you intend it to be
Ovartuatian.
pronounced?
Angelica Ovartuatian.
Monitor at me and eat my face.
Yeah, okay.
Iffy, how did you intend it to be pronounced before we move on further?
I didn't.
Oh, great! Awesome! Okay.
Alright,
As I was meandering through the annual Westler exposition for the brave and unsightly, I happened upon your work and was immediately overwhelmed by its depth and elegance. Surrounded by filth, it alone stood as a pillar of creative ingenuity, a sole light amongst the dark. Depraved art littered throughout the rest of Westler Town Hall.
This is amazing.
Okay. I was moved to write you when I attempted to research more of your masterful artistry, but found there was nothing more available to the public eye. It was quite the perturbing discovery, after all. I have yet to witness such majesty replicated by another. I implore you, share your sculpting with the world! The way you gently and precisely chisel the delicate details. The way you scrutinize every little detail to ensure perfection. The way you convey emotion through stone such that it may warm my heart. It is simply entrancing. I wish to see more. Tommy would want you to pursue your passion, yet you do not honor his final wish. He said it so clearly as you held him. Please don't lose your spark, he cried, the light slowly fading from his eyes. Please keep bringing beauty into this world. Yet you haven't so much as gazed upon a chisel since that time. You haven't sat near the window to soak in the morning sun, nor have you sung a song or danced under the stars. The world needs your light. I need your light! Why this sculpture of all of them? Why this place? The Westler exposition for the brave and unsightly? Your work is anything but. You dishonor both yourself and your deceased lover by lowering yourself to the standards of these plebeian trash maids.
It's plebeian, but alright.
Did I read it wrong? I do. That's an awesome insult. I'm gonna use that now.
Very, very strong opening. A bit blunt, but very strong.
That's fucking awesome.
Holy shit.
That letter was turning point. I'd received letters from this secret admirer previously. However, those had been rather sweet and even a bit flattering. They were the kind of words that I wanted to hear after having just lost Tommy. He had gone on a fox hunt just a week before I had received the first letter. He disappeared, leaving behind no trace except for his shoes and cap. The investigators had claimed that he just dropped off the face of the earth that day. Probably got carried by wolves. It happens on occasion in this part of the country, the constable had said after 5 fruitless days of searching. The letters were the closest thing to comfort I had in the following weeks. They had even helped push me to finish a statue that I had been working on since before Tommy disappeared. The letters slowly began to grow more and more demanding in tone, even branching into the psychotic at times. Until one day, they changed completely into the most horrible correspondence. Since the day I received that dark letter, I have been living in fear for my life. Whoever it was who sent it knew so much about me, even going so far as to reference the unique slang that only myself and Tommy had ever used. I know in my heart that they are out there. I can feel their eyes on me, always and everywhere. With this threat looming over me, all I could feel was the gaping hole in my heart where Tommy should be, growing more cavernous day by day. I had never felt so alone and hopeless before. Oh, Tommy, why did you have to go? I've never missed you so badly. I wish you were here, because I never needed you by my side more than I do now. I sobbed quietly to myself one night while I lay in bed attempting in vain to purge the insomnia from my body that had recently taken hold of my nights. That next morning, I awoke to the sound of the mail carrier slipping a letter through the mail slot in my front door. I knew before I had even touched the envelope that it was another letter from that stalker. I had received a few since the dark letter, but I had not opened any for fear of their contents. For some reason, this one was different. I felt a strong compulsion to read it, and so I did. Dear Angelica Ovartuatian, I know you've been ignoring me. I've seen you throw out my letters like they were just the same as the trash in the galleries these days. Do you really miss that bastard so much? Oh, Tommy, why did you have to go? I've never missed you so badly. I wish you were here because I've never needed you by my side more than I do now. I thought I was freeing you! If you really need that trash in your life so badly, then I will give him back to you. At the Rose Gardens tonight, you will find him.
And then in the green was I couldn't finish that in time, but I really wanted to put it down, so
Okay.
it's an optional addendum.
The
I'll
green
read
does
it.
not count towards points or voting.
Yeah.
In that
Okay.
case, I will read it then.
Okay, right.
After
Give us a
receiving
neutral
that letter, I immediately ran to the police
Dude.
station.
Oh
Okay.
no.
After receiving that letter, I immediately ran to the police station to tell them. When they read the letter, they agreed we should check the Rose Gardens that night to see if it was true that Tommy was there. And when we arrived at the Rose Garden, the police scoured the grounds looking for any sign of Tommy. "He's here!" screamed one of the officers. I ran over to him as fast as I could. When I rounded the corner, I saw him. Tommy was strung up by the neck and hanging from a lamppost.
Oh my
He was still
God.
bleeding. I fell to my knees, broke
Okay.
apart.
Holy
I think that
shit.
ending
What-
would be even
what
stronger
the-
if you had just left it at bruised and still bleeding, period.
Yeah,
And just got
probably.
rid of the last sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, that ending is a plot hole. Hear
Good
me out.
ending. Such a shame that
Earlier
it was
in the story, it
can't
said that
considered.
he had already died.
It did not.
That he
It did, in
disappeared, in fact.
It said in my
Wolves had
section.
taken
You do not honor his final wish. He said it so clearly as you held him, which implies
Oh shit!
that he died
Oh
in the
wait,
main character's
you're
arms.
right.
Oh, you
It's fine.
bastard.
Plot hole.
Plot hole.
Anyways, we're not judging off of that.
Uh-oh, spaghettios.
Green
I-
isn't
I-
part of the
I-
actual
I-
story.
You know,
The entire
I'm
thing
impressed
was
with
not
what you
told
did
through
with it,
letters.
honestly, personally. I had no idea.
No, 100% strong,
Yep.
but also plot hole.
Plot hole.
I will say, I'm getting some hella voice acting,
oh, fuck it. No, you're doing a great job. You're getting a lot of
practice out of
practice.
this. Yes,
Yeah, you're-
practice, that's a word. Thank
You're
you.
doing really good. You managed to capture all the unhinged shit of that stalker shit.
Regardless, I do like the direction you took it in the second half.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yep.
I should have.
Just plot hole.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that it's in green now, isn't it, Mathias?
Yeah.
Because
All right.
now-
Well, I mean, the plot hole is in the first paragraph, Prime. I mean,
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna no.
Yeah,
I mean-
it is.
Well, it's a good thing. It's in green now, isn't it?
Yeah, whoa, that's crazy.
Whoa!
crazy.
Whoa.
Holy shit!
Next up is the Fable, written first by me and then taken over by Iffy.
Taken
I'm
over.
so sorry, Connor.
A proud lion and a meek mouse discover the power of unexpected friendship when the mouse saves the lion from a hunter's trap. Sorry?
Oh no, I was just saying this is literally just the lion and the thorn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fables.
It would have been.
It would have been.
Fables.
Okay.
Anyway,
It is a fable, yeah, so that makes
My
sense.
alternative, to be clear, was a fox and a raven trying to compete to see who gets some prized cheese.
That's amazing. What are you
Fucking
talking
great.
about?
yeah.
That sounds awesome!
I feel like taking it that direction.
Oh, come on!
Those were the
Oh, man.
two prompts I was given by Jeff.
Alright. Okay. "Oh dear, oh dear," exclaimed the mouse, seeing her homely burrow shake and shudder. Something, or someone, large, it seemed, was creating quite the ruckus above. Opening the hatch to her burrow, the mouse neatly popped her head outside, turning to figure the location of this would-be supper ruiner. Her eyes nearly popped out of her head when she saw none other than the lion, prancing about and singing in his own praises. "Oh, lovely sun, whose fur shines so bright to reflect your radiance, why me, of course," the lion boomed, vigorously shaking droplets of water from his fine pelt, which did indeed shine like the sun on a summer day. Unfortunately, it also managed to shine directly into the poor rodent's home, who was nearly blinded by the sight. "Mr. Lion?" stammered the mouse as she stood up outside her burrow. "Why, don't you know that there are people living here?" She put her foot paw down, tapping it lightly on the woven doormat she stood upon. At this, the lion took notice, pausing his galloping, about to lean down to eye level with the smaller figure. "But of course I do, little one," he purred. "I simply thought the rest of you small folk would appreciate the magnanimous presence of one such as I in this humble valley. After all, I am big and strong, and always appreciate a compliment." The lion brought his voice down deeper, sounding out the larger words as if to better help the mouse understand them. "Well, we don't need your help here. The hunter doesn't pay us little folk much attention so long as we stay out of his home." She thought for a moment. "Much like how I feel about your disruptive behavior," she exclaimed, proud for a moment at connecting the dots, but her stern scolding did little to dissuade him, and he simply pouted for a moment before stretching and once more singing in his own good praises. "Oh, grass, whose delicate paws do you massage, and whose razor claws do you fear?" he sang playfully, swiping a pile of sticks into the stream nearby. "Ah, it feels so good to be beautiful, and to be so graceful," he finished. The mouse barely heard that last part, already back inside her home, and working at securing the furniture against the tremors that accompanies the lion's dance. In fact, it was the new lack of boisterous uproar that drew her back outside in the first place. "Oh no! Oh dear, oh no! Are you all right, Mr. Lion?" the mouse stammered. The lion was still, whimpering as he pawed at the hunter's trap that had clamped onto his paw. The lion moaned. "Oh, the pain! Oh, the travesty! Oh, the humiliation! Little mouse, do not come any closer. No one can see my likeness. No one!" The mouse cautiously approached. "It's okay, Mr. Lion. I think I can help," she said. "How could such a small creature help me? Return to your home, and I shall disturb you no longer. Soon the hunter will come for me, and it will be all over!" the lion shouted, his voice booming through the valley. The lion tried to move away from the mouse, but the hunter's trap held him firm. I can help! I'm not as weak as my size suggests," the mouse proclaimed. Now more confident in herself, the lion stayed quiet and whimpered as the mouse gnawed through the trap that held the lion. "There! Oh, better! Please be more careful when you decide to so rudely dance on other people's homes," the mouse scolded the lion. The lion began to cry more profusely. "I'm so sorry, little mouse. I thought if you saw the beauty of my fur, you would want to be my friend. Now I see that I've only made a mess of things. Thank you for helping me." The lion had just started limping away when the mouse stopped him. "Mr. Lion, I want to be your friend too. I'm sorry I didn't see how lonely you were before." The two shared a short but gentle embrace, and the lion wiped away his tears. "You saved my life and became my friend. Now I would like to help you too. the lion said to the mouse. Climb on top of my great mane, and together we will kill the hunter. You would do...
And this is what is going to kill this story.
Oh, awesome! This is the fable I need tonight.
Yes.
This is so. Like, up until now, this is a story I would read my kids at bedtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
I was at like 5 minutes left at this point in time. Okay.
No.
I had like 5 minutes.
Why would
in
you
my
shoot
defense.
yourself in the
You could have
foot?
ended it.
Why would you shoot yourself in the foot?
No.
Please keep
Maybe
reading.
this is what we need.
Yes, this is what we deserve.
I will give you a chance. I'll give you a chance.
All right.
I don't know. I've seen some things.
Shush, be quiet.
Alright.
Alright, I'm gonna read that line again. Climb on top of my great mane, and together we will kill the hunter. You would do that for me? Gasped the mouse. Thank you, thank you! The two unlikely friends then traveled to the hunter's house, singing and dancing the whole way there. What in tarnation? Screamed the hunter as the mouse opened the front door for the lion. The hunter reached for his shotgun, but Lion was faster, ripping out the hunter's jugular vein and tearing his chest apart for good measure. The house is ours! Exclaimed the mouse as she danced atop the lion's mane. Now no one will stomp on your house again. I will never forget what you did for me, little mouse, Lion said, grinning wide. Lion helped Mouse move into the old hunter's cottage where the two of them still live to this day, basking in central air conditioning and eating all the preserved food their hearts desires. What is the moral of this story, you ask? Never put a lion trap next to a mouse's den. They will become friends and eat your balls.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
What?
Minus 30 points to Gryffindor.
Minus.
It was so good! And
Connor,
then you
straight
shot
up,
yourself
straight
in the
up.
foot!
It's okay.
You become a
It's
children's
okay.
right.
It's
Right
okay. It's okay. Hold on. Ready?
Together we will kill
It's
the hunter.
okay.
And together we will kill the hunter.
In green.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Stylistically very strong.
I
until
loved
the end.
reading it. I really did love reading it. I gotta
Honestly,
give you that.
Fantastic lion's voice. I really loved
Yeah,
that.
it was
You
pretty
did
And you
amazing.
actually made the singing like sound actually good. That was
Yeah, that was very
I was
special.
not confident in myself at all.
Alright.
That's pretty good, pretty good.
The singing added a layer of whimsy to the story that it really needed.
It did.
One small note: nod is spelled with a G and not a K.
I am aware.
Where?
Okay.
I noticed how G and K are 3 keys apart on the keyboard.
Oh man, tragic comedy. You guys ready to be happy?
I'm
sad.
so happy to be ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so ready. A man spends years perfecting his online dating profile, only to accidentally match with his ex on the first day it goes live.
Okay. Fucking wonderful prompt.
God damn. Off to
This
a
was-
great start, and we haven't
The other
even
prompt
writ-
is not a prompt.
Oh,
All right, who
This-
started this disaster?
yes, who
It
started
was
it?
fire, and then I finished it.
Okay. The perfect dating profile was a challenge few degenerate dweebs ever dared to concoct, and fewer still ever submitted to the thick stocks database. But I, Gary, Lord of the Trees, was going to be the one to
you.
accomplish such a daunting task.
All right, we're going back. You know what? The wine's not strong enough. We're going to Dorley's. Fuck you.
I have
Just
honed
remember that it's prime as we go forward.
I have honed my muscles to the peak of what was humanly possible, and as I checked myself in the filter-free mirror, I saw that even my muscles had muscles. My skin seemed to have been sculpted by the finest of artisans, and my skin was like the finest of potatoes, simmered to the idealist of tones. I kissed my guns, left then my right, and made sure these babies didn't get left in the darkness with the selfies I was taking with my highest of high-definition camera phones from the greatest, most popular brand ever, Phony Phone.
Missed opportunity to put dusk.
Only the chaddest of the chads wielded such phones, and the unremovable watermarks that it left was a glorious sight to behold. Speaking of which, many dweebs these days are broke wannabes and can't afford the luxurious brands and fail to attract the perfect mate online because of this. I, being a man of culture, have made sure that all my riches and assets are clearly in the background of all my photos. It is, after all, the only gentleman's way of making sure to flaunt off my one-of-a-kind dick fountain, my indoor swimming pool with prairie dogs, and my needlessly fast cars that are always insured to the max.
That's
The lady...
I don't insure my car. I take offense to this.
The ladies love a reckless man whose richness is clear as the diamonds that I have sworn to buy her by the hour. All of my efforts would be for naught if it weren't for my pristine autobiography that was a concise poetry that both enlightened the mind and allowed mysteries of my past to allure my targeted audience. Only the most brilliant of ladies with the most adventurous of spirits would gather to graze upon my savory profile. There was absolutely no chance that a stud muffin like me was ever going to not achieve the most perfect dating profile that has ever been created. The number one popped up underneath that succulent bell icon almost instantaneously, reminding me of my near instantaneous victories in all aspects of my life, and I slammed that button almost as hard as I slapped the like and subscribe buttons on Markiplier's newest video release. Okay. The profile I beheld next was naturally that of the most perfect woman I'd ever had the fortune of witnessing. She liked all of my hobbies, vast and varied as they were, to include being an Instagram influencer, a practicing grand wizard, and, of course, a professional smartphone tester. I'm sorry, Grand Wizard just clicked.
Took you a moment.
It did.
I do not agree with these allegations.
Remember,
This is Prime. Yeah.
I may have been born in Idaho, but I am not.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So I'm reliving this as I'm going through it.
So far, we've got the comedy aspect down.
Hell yeah, you have fucking sure have for me. Scrolling down, I noticed that she had also included an autobiographical retelling of her life from the perspective of her late mother, which came to a total length that rivaled Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy. I promptly skipped that, naturally, because I felt such a deep connection with this woman that I felt as though I'd known her my entire life. The only downside was that she hadn't included a picture with her profile, but I naturally took no issue with it. It wouldn't be right for someone to lie to such a large-dicked man as myself, and I felt with full faith. And I felt with full faith that a woman of this much apparent beauty and emotional intellect wouldn't dare lie to me about even the slightest thing. She must be beautiful. I decided with long and glorious golden hair that smelled of strawberries and pre-workout powder. Her eyes would be as blue as the ocean on a bright summer's day. And tits as big as watermelons, naturally. A Chad like me deserved no less. Damn. The date was soon set afterwards. Its scheduling only took 3 minutes and 17 seconds.
A new record. Our connection was just that deep.
I was excited, but also totally cool about it. My ultra-muscled bod was totally hardy and ready to party. And I drove to the spot where we were to meet in my brand new 3001 SUX, which is basically a cross between a good old-fashioned American muscle car and a good old-fashioned American SUV.
Its gas mileage is measured in gallons per mile.
And pulled out front. The flickering neon sign on the door read Jim's Fish Hut. What the fuck is going on? I swaggered in, catching lots of hungry looks from the totally hot babes that were eating with their boyfriends and husbands at the restaurant. They all totally wanted me, but there was only one woman I had eyes for. No doubt a few hearts were broken that day, but hey, you can't keep Gary, Lord of the Trees, down. I'm a free bird, and you can't keep me in a cage. No way, man, no way. I'm just too free-spirited.
How fucking long is this?
Like a bird.
The second longest one.
I looked down at my phone, at the name on screen, and the name of my soulmate, whom I destined to meet this day, and realized in horror that it said Jessica. Keep cool, I told myself. It's probably a different Jessica, who is in no way related to that other one that you totally don't try to forget for the sake of your sanity. I wasn't nervous in the slightest, not one bit, as I sauntered over to the table in the far corner and slouched down in the seat. I tried to bite my lip very hotly, but my mouth hung open when I saw exactly who sat across from me. The sheer look of revulsion on Jessica's face was enough to make me want to curl up and die, because it was her, that vile fucking bitch! I armed myself with a fork and prepared to defend myself. She did the same, which was fair because I was totally planning to kill her with my super ripped arms. The only downside was that she was also super ripped, which is kind of why we began dating in the first place, but that's a whole different can of worms. So anyways, in the next 7 seconds, we wound up wrestling on the floor as the patrons of Jim's Fish Hut looked on in an abject terror, afraid beyond all fear that my glorious body would become harmed in this little scuffle. I believe one woman fainted because she thought for the briefest moments that my perfect pectorals would become bruised as Jess slammed the table leg into my chest, throwing a handful of pepper-crusted cod into her face. I regained my feet and grabbed a nearby ketchup bottle. A shout came from nearby. "Someone called the cops! There are 2 midgets fighting in my restaurant!" I turned to politely explain to the man that I am 4'11", and that is perfectly normal height for a fully grown man to be at, when Jessica smashed me in the back of the head with a bottle of vinegar. As stinging Brit oil dripped down my face, something snapped within me, and I made it in my mission to erase my ex-girlfriend from the face of the planet. Well, now that I thought about it, that had been my mission from the beginning. Amidst vinegar fumes, we continued our epic struggle. Slaps were exchanged, hair was pulled, and more than once nasty things were said. But when all was said and done, and the 2 of us were shoved into the back of the same filth-encrusted backseat of our small town's only police cruiser and hauled away to the county jail. The charges of assault were dropped, and we were left in the holding cell for the night to sober up. At least, that's the cover story. In truth, the police were afraid that if they let us out, we'd kick all their assets, and they'd have to explain to the mayor of how we got away. So yeah, unfortunately, when we were released, Jessica asked me if I wanted to do this again next week, and I unfortunately agreed because, like, come on, you don't get a second chance with a girl like that, but we parted ways. I still regret that decision, because in 6 years, we haven't quite been able to break up since. Anyway, the point I'm really to try and get at is, you must verify who you are dating online! I can't stress that enough. Be vigilant, kids, or you might end up just like me, married to the worst woman on the planet.
I didn't know you had Fable too.
I have a fucking headache. Holy shit.
That was so fucking
That
good.
is a good.
That was awesome. That was fucking awesome.
I think it's a great comedy. I don't
That was
feel
a
the
great-
tragedy.
Yeah, great
comedy.
comedy. The comedy outshines the tragedy tenfold. I have to
Yeah.
say. But that was really fucking funny.
Oh.
By far,
The tragedy here is that
Sorry.
the Dorleys was not strong
Yeah.
enough, and now I have to get the absinthe.
My screen is covered in spit.
my
Brian, you better
favorite
not be playing an alcoholic. I swear
by
to God.
far had to be
It's just
someone
this week,
call the
man.
cop. Two bitches.
Fighting in my restaurant.
I
Yes.
turned to politely explain to the man
That I'm 4'11", and that is perfectly normal height for a fully grown man to be at. When Jessica smashed me in the back of the head with a bottle of vinegar.
It fits the vibes of that character so
I think it's way more funny because it's Prime.
That's true. It is Prime.
It's so much funnier.
right.
That's so true.
I'm so happy. So happy.
No, I got one line into writing the second half of that and immediately knew where this was going. It was nowhere good.
Oh, it was. I loved it. A scientist experimenting with a new biotechnology creates a symbiotic organism to enhance human health. After testing it on themselves, they begin to feel a strange compulsion to eat raw flesh. As the organism inside them grows, it starts to alter their body, morphing it in grotesque ways. They must grapple with their desire to feed and the horrifying transformation they can no longer control. Wow, that's a long prompt.
It's a long one-sentence prompt.
Yeah.
Even though it's like actually 4 sentences.
That's the joke.
Yes, thank you, Prime, for giving me this prompt.
Fuck you.
Yes, we should say thanks, Prime.
Thank you, Prime. You've been most helpful.
I will not forget what you've done to me here tonight.
Subject Theta is showing promise. Daniel Larson, Chief Science Officer of the Ganymede Corporation, announced with a wide grin. The board of directors all nodded along, exchanging smiles and congratulations with one another, though doubtless none of them really grasped the full gravity of the situation. Project Lazarus was destined to extend the human lifespan indefinitely, and eventually to usher in a new age of human evolution. Larson was certain. It just needed a few more tweaks, and soon he'd be known as the man who uplifted humanity. The board director, Madeline Marsh, was less certain. From behind her dark steel-rimmed glasses, she watched with discontent. A frown darkened her face, her lips curled into a cold sneer of disapproval. The Ganymede Corporation is an industry titan, she said. Built on our successes, promise does not guarantee success, as your previous experiments have demonstrated. At this time, we cannot continue to provide funding unless you are able to provide us with absolute proof that this subject is ready for human trials, and soon. The end of the quarter, Dr. Larson, or your funding will be cut. That had proved to be her final verdict, and no amount of persuasion on Larson's part was able to change her mind. Didn't she know the opportunity she was squandering? The progress that could be made towards a more perfect existence? He could have expected as much, he admitted to himself. The board was an organization created to ensure that Ganymede continued to make money and held little genuine interest in the betterment of mankind. That night, as he ran a final simulated injection on his computer, he realized that drastic action needed to be taken. None of their subjects had survived the initial injections, none save for Project Theta. But these final calculations, the program projected a 98% chance of success. It was a risk he allowed, but if he didn't take one soon, his life's work would be entirely forfeit. There was simply no time for adequate testing on the subject once it was injected into a host. Such an injection was made soon, in order for the approximated 4 to 5 weeks of study to conclude the validity of the creature's effects on the human body. This is a bad idea, Larson said to himself as he unlocked the sealed, clean room where the subjects were kept. Long rows of pristine metal boxes lined the stark white room. Larson's face reflected 1,000 times in their polished chromium exteriors. He walked down the line of subject containment units, stopping before the one marked Theta. He inhaled sharply, smelling the stinging scent of disinfectant clear in the air, and producing from his pocket the special injector that had been designed to allow the transmission of the parasite into the human body. Subject Theta was a modified river leech, genetically enhanced to supply the human body with endorphins and proteins of synthetic design. In addition, the parasite's brain had been entirely removed, and left in control of the organism was a small biochip powered by the electrical impulses of the subject's nerves that maintained hormone balance within its human host. Theoretically, of course. As of yet, Subject Theta was entirely untested. Larson opened the metal box slowly. It hissed as the seal was broken, and Larson extended the slender glass tube that contained the subject. He inserted the tube into the syringe, pressing the syringe into his thigh and gasped in air. The tip of the syringe was designed to expand after it pierced the skin, allowing the rather large package to be seamlessly delivered into the host's bloodstream. He hadn't expected it to hurt quite so much, if he was being honest, but as the needle expanded, he found himself clutching a nearby table for balance. Subject Theta squirmed as it entered his body, and his sharp teeth latched onto his flesh. Larson grit his teeth, then suddenly, the pain passed, and a sensation of calm washed over him. Larson looked down at his leg and removed the syringe. The flesh closed up where the large needle had been injected, stitching itself together in a matter of moments. Larson grinned, riding high on a sudden wave of euphoria. He whooped in excitement, though the lab was empty at this hour of the night. The next morning, his assistant, Carl Dawes, found Larson pacing around the lab, muttering excitedly to himself. Strangely, it appeared to Dawes that the equipment had not been powered off that night, and the trash can was filled with an alarming number of bags and wrappers from the local power burger. Larson looked at Dawes, excitement plain on his face, eyes shining with an intensity that the latter had not seen from his colleague in their 8 years of working together. "Carl, you must see these readings! Subject Theta is a success!" Larson raved. "More than a success, a perfect specimen! You must see! Look!" And by all appearances, Dr. Larson was correct. The subject provided its host with an incredible regenerative healing capabilities and mental fortitude. Larson claimed to have worked through the entire night without tiring in the slightest, and he showed no signs of slowing down. He continued to move like he'd drunk one too many coffees that morning, his bright eyes picking out subtle differences in biometric readouts and long research papers. After much pushing by Carl, Dr. Larson was eventually convinced to turn in for the night, and he nearly leapt in joy all the way to his car, which now felt crawlingly slow, even driving down the freeway. Madeline would be so pleased to see the progress he'd made. Even she won't be able to deny the efficacy of Project Lazarus, this, he thought, tucking himself into bed for the night. But rest, it seemed, would not be quick to find the enterprising doctor. With heightened senses brought hyper-awareness, and it seemed like even the weakest of his senses had been turned up to 11 by the injection. Mrs. Schmidt-Dog had never kept Larson awake before, but despite only living next door, the pounding of the beast's tail against the fence and the wretched scent of its breath seemed all too close, keeping him awake and disgusted. "This will not do," he decided, opening his second-story window and leering down into the shadowy corner of his neighbor's yard where the dog was kept. All too easily, Larson leapt down the 16-some feet onto the gravel, noting the surprising resilience that Theta had added to his physical structure already. It had only been perhaps 18 hours or so, and already the results were more promising than diagnostics had suggested. First matters first, Larson thought, concentrating at the ever-growing scent and the sound of shaggy meat piles slumbering across from him. All too quickly, the doctor crept up to it and insisted in a hushed tone, "Be quiet, damn it, and breathe somewhere else, for God's sake." The dog, of course, did not take kindly to being awakened and suddenly bit at Larson's hand, catching the edge of his hand and drawing blood. With his other hand, Larson grabbed a rock and bashed the thing's ribcage in, leaving it panting on the lawn. The smell of its blood was intoxicating, and a new kind of hunger crept in from the edges of his mind. A quick taste wouldn't hurt, would it? His multi-layered teeth made quick work of the creature's fur, and his hunger was satiated. Larson wiped his lips and returned to bed, not noticing how his once human mouth had grown progressively more round, and how his stomach had grown to accommodate the sacred red ichor of Mrs. Schmidt's pet. The next morning, Larson awoke with a start. Something was wrong. He couldn't describe it, but something was wrong. It started with cramps, sudden and intense in his lower abdomen, nearly incapacitating him despite the injection. "What is happening to me?" he screamed without speaking, only able to squeal and writhe upon his shag carpet. The smell of blood brought him back to his senses. His blood upon the carpets and staining through his pants? He made his way to the bathroom mirror, and for the first time since the injection truly recognized his new form. His hair had fallen out, revealing an oily bald head that nearly folded over itself with loose skin. His eyes were beadier, and his mouth was entirely unable to articulate anymore, opening and closing in one motion rather than having distinct muscular structure. Memories pressed against the button-up shirt he had brought to bed and rested upon a disturbingly round stomach that extruded past his shirt and hung barely above his pelvis. And the energy that Theta had given him, it was still there, but unable to be utilized by his arms that had noticeably become more fragile and shorter overnight. He was beautiful. Goddamn.
Alright.
He was alien.
I want to preface this. I'm
So
very
did you know
sorry
that
for my
leeches are
stuttering.
hermaphrodites?
What?
So did you know that leeches are hermaphrodites?
What does that mean?
It means that I got him pregnant.
That's not what that means.
All right.
I
noticed you were like noticeably less excited to read that one, Joshua.
No, it's not that I wasn't excited. It's that I don't know why. I enjoyed reading it.
Scientific based.
I enjoyed reading
Or
it. Do not get
spirit.
me wrong. I loved reading it, but with me skipping over every other word, it was more of a me problem than it was of a you writing problem. There was no you writing problem, in fact. It was a me problem, apparently not being able to read anymore. I'm very sorry. But it was good. I still liked it.
Thank you.
Again,
This-
all 5 of these I've really enjoyed.
Liar.
So, are we ready to move on
To the voting stage.
to
And
voting?
not voting the stories you wrote on.
Correct.
Should we allow Joshua to vote freely?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yep.
Joshua will essentially be the deciding vote.
So the way this is going to work is you're going to assign, there are 3 stories that you did not write in. You're going to
Yes.
assign either 1, 2, or 3 points. You can only assign 1 of 1, 1 of 2, and 1 of 3. Assign the most points to the one that you like the most, and the least points to the one that you like the least. Connor, the point collector, collect the points.
I am.
Do it
You
justly,
can see me
as we
doing it.
entrust our fates in you. Do it impartially, do it fairly. The great point counter.
As is my duty.
Now that we're able to speak freely.
Yeah,
They're all good stories, in my opinion.
yeah, they were all very good. I like.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will say, even though like all my ranking does seem more abnormal than your guys's, but I do want to say here and up front, all of them, they're all up in the 9 and 10 range. Out of 10. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. For me, personally.
Yeah. We brought our A games tonight.
I was gonna say,
Really
like,
do think
everyone's A games was perfect.
In last place, we have a tie between EP Fiction and Body Horror at 7 points. Then,
wow.
in the middle, we have Fable at 9. Then, STD at 10. And winning, again, by 2 points, Tragic Comedy.
Fuck yeah, I'm so happy.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Finally, we got a retribution. Last to first. Fire. Last to first.
Will this be the first time I win?
All right.
Well,
I'm
let's
just happy.
find
Now,
out.
now it's time to vote on the better halves. It is Iffy and Prime on EP Fiction.
I think
I'm gonna-
my,
I have
my
to give it to the
retcon-
first half.
Yeah, my retcon kind of ruins it. It's my fault for not paying attention while I was reading.
If you had written the last part, my opinion might be different, but we can't consider that.
Correct.
Because I could probably go through the plot holes and be like, okay, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. I probably want to give it to Iffy for making a solid foundation.
It's 2 to Iffy. One more and I lose completely. Actually, no, he can't vote and I can't vote.
I can't.
already
Neither of
lost.
us can vote.
Yeah,
Alright.
so it's up
One,
to...
1 point to Iffy.
Yeah.
Or
Alright, 1 point to Iffy.
Right.
The first part definitely fits the theme better. Overall, the story was a little hard to follow, but that's just because of the letter formatting. You gotta
Well,
kind of
yeah, it's
decide.
unhinged
that
stalker
letter?
letter. You know.
Yeah. But I did enjoy the mystery of it overall, and you definitely get more of that. You get more into it with the second half.
Yeah.
So the first one was definitely more structured, more coherent, while the second part had more mystery and allure, I guess. It was a nice blend of the two. It feels fleshed out a bit more, perhaps with the plot or in making it more clear where the letters are. I really think this could have been a really nice story. I can't really decide which side is better, but that's irrelevant, apparently.
Okay.
For my vote because of outvotedness.
Well, because there's
Well-
3 of us who didn't write it.
3 of us didn't write it, but Joshua is here.
That's true.
So we could potentially tie.
could potentially tell.
Joshua, how do you feel?
I do agree. Sorry.
Honesty.
Oh, honesty.
Joshua's like, oh, that changes what I'm gonna say.
Oh, that changes everything.
Oh, that changes everything. I was gonna be biased because I enjoyed the second half, reading the second half more. Shit! I was gonna go down that road, just being like, oh, which half did I enjoy reading more, but...
Technically speaking, I do believe the point of this game is to exercise the skill of writing, not less so the enjoyment of reading.
But isn't the enjoyment of reading the end point of writing? Isn't that the purpose?
That's
It depends
true.
on the type of writing.
That's
And the
also
genre,
Yeah.
yes.
Did I enjoy reading this as an EP fiction?
Do you think this did a good job of being an EP fiction?
Yeah.
And if
The first half, which I don't know whose half that was,
it,
That was mine.
Iffy's. Okay, I gotta say that encapsulates the genre a lot more than the second half does. I gotta say, I gotta give it to Iffy on the first half.
Alright, Iffy will win the bonus point from that round.
So, next up is
Yeah.
Connor and I's body horror. Let's hear it from the Peanut Gallery.
Yes.
I have a feeling I know.
I do as well, and I think...
I think it's you.
No, it's you.
All right.
Let's let the Peanut Gallery decide.
I like
Peanut Gallery.
the first half, and I highlighted the paragraph that I really liked earlier. In fact, I'm still at it. I thought it did the genre justice. It got the idea perfectly conveyed. I fucking was squirming, and I hated what I was reading because of it did it so well in terms of imagery, and I don't like it, which means you did a good job.
That's very
A
true.
really good job.
I
that
also
is-
have to go with the first half.
Yeah.
Because it's just, at this point, it's been proven time and time again that Mathias is so specialized in this type of writing, none of us are going to be able to beat him. And I have resigned myself to the fact, and consistently he has proven it to be true.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Despite the fact that apparently...
Fuck you, Mathias, I was right.
Okay, I seriously thought it would be you, because you have all, like, the big body horror stuff in the,
well, that is true.
in the second half.
Yeah,
But
that is...
You
You
got the cake.
set it up really well. You got the feels going, right?
I did not. I failed at successfully body horroring. I
I was-
tried,
I think
but
you
I
did
did not.
decently.
In my opinion, for this type
Yeah.
of genre, the build-up cannot exist without the atmosphere being set in stone from the start. It doesn't matter how good your body horror was in the second half if the first half was not strong enough to set the atmosphere properly.
Yeah, if the first half did not exist and you just went into the second half just straight off the cuff, it would not be as impactful without the first half setting it up as well as it did.
When it comes to this story and this type of writing, I feel as though less is more.
Well,
What
what I
might
was
be.
gonna say was I really liked seeing the positive effects that you did, Connor. The meat pile or something like the shaggy meat pile. That was a brilliant line.
That
I
was,
really liked
yeah.
that line. Because that was a transition. You called it a dog earlier, and then you switched subtly to meat pile slumbering. That is perfect for body horror. I really like that line. The reason why I did give the first half more was because of the
No, it was better. I do agree with you.
It was beautiful. This threw me off. I know it was the last line. You didn't have a lot of time. I know that, but even so, I was beautiful. Was an interesting choice there that kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
Anyway, Iffy and Josh, what are your opinions here? Because we're still at 2-0.
I mean, I talked about my opinion for a solid 2 or 3 minutes. If you didn't hear
Yeah, so did I. Were you not listening?
I did not hear
Matthias
your final
already earned.
We are in unanimous agreement.
All right. After that is the Fable. That is me and Iffy.
Fuck.
Okay.
I already know what you guys are gonna say.
The first
You don't
half.
even have to
I
say
said
it.
it the first time.
I'm sorry.
For
Iffy.
obvious
You don't have to
reasons.
be sorry. No, you're absolutely correct. If I had not included this part here, it would have been infinitely better.
Yeah.
I mean, even right here, I'd say this part here is fine. It's when you said climb.
Great.
Climb?
From,
And
like,
together
on
we
this
will
point.
kill the
Hunter!
Yeah.
You would do that for me?
Josh's narration just makes it sound like such
No,
a
no, straight
natural
up,
part
if-
of it.
If
Yeah.
this had been removed, it would have been infinitely better.
Why is it so red?
Uh,
My eyes
But-
hurt.
yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I would have ranked this above the letter ones. It just why? Why'd you shoot the story?
Yeah.
It was really close though between this.
Yeah, it's so
previous
close.
story.
It is
You're
super
so
close.
Redacted.
You were doing so good, man.
All right,
Why'd you
could
gotta
we-
do yourself
I need
like
I need a
that?
minute. So could you guys wait before going
Okay.
on to the
Yeah.
next story? Thank
Yep.
I really do
Yeah.
like the first one though. I also just love narrating it. It was so much fun being the mouse and the lion.
I assume this would be your favorite one narration-wise?
Phew, it's a tie between that and the tragic comedy.
I like the last line though. I thought
What was the last line of yours?
Never.
Remember, it's the moral of the story. Remember.
Oh,
Come
never
friends
put a
with
lion
balls.
trap next to a mouse's den. They will become friends and eat your balls.
So is that are we done talking about Fable?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Connor won.
Next up is the
STD.
The STD. I'm gonna vote for the second half. Some of the lines in that, like, where was it?
This
Do
is
you actually mean that you're a real coven with witchcraft and spells?
I do think totally the second one definitely was
Totally.
much better. I was also a little thrown off by the when the first one started out with, and
Yeah, it
she
was
was so
third person.
nervous, and then immediately is the proactive person
Yeah,
Between
yeah, that is.
her
a
and
good
the
point.
nervous girl.
true.
My intention was nervous to not make a fool of herself, not socially awkward.
I tried to do that justice.
But then she immediately throws in with the like a real
You're a real
To be fair,
coven?
you didn't write that, but I just feel like the second half.
It really
It's
nails
more genre
down the the
specific.
teen drama.
The teen
Yeah.
genre.
I agree.
Next one.
We're burning through these. Goddamn.
Usually, it's a bit more of a struggle.
And yeah, in fact,
I mean, the options have been fairly clear.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'd say the close one of all of these was
gonna be this
Body
one.
Hoarder in terms
Body
of
Hoarder.
picking whose was better.
Oh, body
No.
horror. Yeah.
actually,
Alright.
we haven't even.
'Cause that was
how about
actually fairly
tragic
close.
comedy though. Which
This is
half
the
was
close
better?
one. This
That
is
one
the
kind of.
fucking
I'm
close
gonna be
one.
honest. Really blended into one thing for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I when I was
Yeah.
reading this, I wasn't sure when who. Yeah.
I
I
actually, I do
The
just need to
second
go
half
back.
solely because it is longer.
Yeah.
It is
probably.
much
Otherwise, they are the same.
Okay, yeah. If the fucking someone call the cops and two midgets fighting in my window.
That's true. That's fucking awesome.
I have 5'11". Yeah, I gotta go with the second half.
Yeah.
Iconic lines in it. I think the first set up the character wonderfully, but Matthias, you made that character iconic.
I really enjoyed how just the density of Dondo lore references there were included in the story.
Oh, you enjoyed that part. I thought the part you hated the most.
That's true. Why the sudden perspective change?
What makes you think I changed?
You're right.
Like,
Because you
I
said you
haven't heard
hated
the
it.
name
That's
Gary
why.
Lord of. No, I said I hated you guys. I haven't heard the name
Gary
Gary,
Lord
Lord,
of
of
Trees.
Trees since our Fortnite days.
This one
Uh.
was the second. Oh, fuck. It's a tie between this and Fable, which one I loved the most reading.
And then the return to Super Saiyan Dondo with the blonde hair.
That's right. I decided with long and glorious golden hair that smelled of strawberries and pre-workout powder.
I did like that line. So you guys like the second half more? For
Yes.
sure.
It's because it was longer, man. It's the
Yeah.
only reason.
Alright.
It was very good. All right, so that leaves us then at our final rankings, which I will order in just a second.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I was in such a trance for the finale. I was reading some of it that a lot of it just went over my head.
Prime, you and me in the loser's corner.
You might want to check your math on mine. Just
Yours?
don't want to be that guy. But, like,
Listen, I'm fucking.
it's
Okay.
9. It's 9.
I just want to. Everybody, look at Pyrrha's in the second place story, first place story, and first place writer. Pyrrha landslide victory, first, second, and third.
Hell yeah.
like I said, I have gotten nothing but second place every time we've done this.
That must be infuriating.
Just for once, I would like to attain the podium.
Oh, that's good.
think I got
That's
it
a
the
nice
first time I
layout.
did
Thank you
it.
very much, Connor.
Yeah, you did.
I'm happy with that. I was not really in it today.
No, so
Clearly.
so newcomers have like very good luck on their first time.
It's
Josh's
fresh.
first
It's
time,
fresh
he got first,
content.
right? Curtis's first time, he got first. Your first time, you got first, right?
That's very true. It's one of those things where it's like, you have a fresh pair of eyes, and obviously the fresh pair are going to see a lot of things that the veterans don't. But then, once you have all the veterans in the same room, it's all going to be very even.
To put it more morbidly, beginner's luck is strong in this game.
Yeah.
I am happy and I have a headache. Woo!
I have a question. Did you guys have fun writing the stories that you guys wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did. I
Okay.
honestly,
Yes.
I much preferred writing the Fable one because that's just not a tone I've really explored before, and I think I did a good job of it.
You did a
You
very
did
good job.
excellent.
I really enjoyed
thank
doing
you.
that one personally.
If you finish the second half of that, you could publish it, make it a book.
Make
I
a
could-
children's book.
I could
have
draw you
Joshua draw some
pictures.
pictures.
I was gonna say, yeah, I could draw you some pictures.
He'll put it off until like the hour.
Shut up!
Release.
Shut up!
He'll get it done. Might ask his
And-
dad to draw a couple, but it'll be okay.
And when they release an audiobook version, he has to do voice. You know,
Yeah.
This is a joint venture, Connor.
you do all the work, and Josh will coast off the.
I will
Hell
coast
yeah.
off the fame. Hell yeah! All right, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this thing. You know what I mean. And until next time, I bid thee farewell.